Alright guys, today's goal, the learner will understand how to apply the distance and midpoint formula. Okay. So, find the distance and midpoint of the following. So distance formula is here, midpoint's formula is here. We're using these 2 points. So distance equals. And if you need to, label this x1, y1, x2, x1, comma, y1, x2, comma, y2. And then plug them in. So you get negative 3 minus 4, minus 2, squared, plus negative 5 minus 4, squared. So distance equals negative 5 squared plus negative 9 squared. (25 plus 81). Distance equals square root of 106. Now you ask, can you simplify the radical? No, so just leave it exact. So the distance is square root of 106. Now the midpoint. The midpoint is 2 plus negative 3 divided by 2, comma, 4 plus negative 5 divided by 2. So the midpoint, negative 1/2, comma, negative 1/2. They're not always the same like that, but there you go. Distance midpoint formula. Remember those from geometry and I think algebra, pre-algebra, so quick review. Alright, so write the equation for the perpendicular bisector of the line segment joining the 2 points. Okay, so if you remember from graphing, if I have this y equals 3x plus 2, the perpendicular line would be negative 1/3 x plus b, because to be perpendicular, it's the negative reciprocal of the slope. So let's see how that'll look here. So find the slope of this. So m equals 12 minus 0, negative 4 minus 0. So the slope of these 2 points, negative 3. So the slope of the perpendicular bisector is positive 1/3, because put it over 1, and then you do the negative reciprocal, which means flip it and multiply it by negative 1. Now we have to figure out the perpendicular bisector. Remember, bisector means it cuts it in half. Okay, so you need to find the midpoint. Then find the midpoint. So that was slope. So capital M, midpoint equals negative 4 plus 0 divided by 2, comma, 12 plus 0 divided by 2. So the midpoint, negative 2, comma, 6. So now use point slope form, remember? So it's y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. So I'm using the point, the midpoint, plugging in the x coordinate and the y coordinate. See, I plugged in the x, plugged in the y. Now just simplify it. So y minus 6 equals 1/3 x plus 2/3. Add the 6 over you get y equals 1/3 x plus 20/3. So there's our equation, there's our midpoint. So let's do the same thing over here. So this time let's just find slope. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you get -8/6, or yep, -8/6, so it'd be -4/3. So then the slope we need is +3/4. The midpoint, -2 plus 4 divided by 2, comma 1 plus -7 divided by 2. The midpoint equals 1, comma -3. So point slope form, y minus -3 equals the slope times x minus the x. So I get y plus 3 equals 3/4 x minus 3/4. Subtract the 3. Y equals 3/4 x minus 15/4. There's the perpendicular bisector, there's the midpoint. So perpendicular means 90-degree angle, bisector means cuts it in half. That's why it goes through the midpoint. Okay? Alright, it says the point 0, 0, 6, -2, 16, 8 lie on a circle. Find the diameter of each circle. Okay, so the first thing we got to do here is draw our graph. And I didn't make that big enough, so hold on a sec. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So that's -2, +2, +2. Okay, so we have the point 0, 0. We're going to call that A. I have the point 6, so 2, 4, 6, -2. Call that B. And then 16, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and then 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are all on a circle. Okay? So what we need to do, somewhere in here is the center of the circle to be able to find the diameter. So what you need to do is we need to find an equation for the perpendicular bisector here, and an equation for the perpendicular bisector here, because they meet in the center. Okay? And call this last point C. So find the midpoint and the perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay? So the midpoint of AB is 3, -1. And then the midpoint of BC is 16 plus 6 divided by 2 is 11. 8 plus -2 is 6 divided by 2 is 3. So there's our two midpoints. Now we need to use those formulas, okay? So, find the slopes too. So, hold on. So the slope of this one is going to be negative 1/3. And then the slope of BC, 1. Double check me, please. Okay. So now, for the blue line, you have y minus negative 1 equals 3 times x minus 3. Because remember, for our perpendicular one, you do the negative reciprocal, so it would be positive 3. The negative reciprocal of this would be negative 1. Okay. So negative 1. So then you'd have y plus 1 equals 3x minus 9. Subtract the 1, you get y equals 3x minus 10. And then for this one, you get y minus 3 equals negative 1 times x minus 11. Y minus 3 equals negative x plus 11. Add the 3 over. Y equals negative x plus 14. So now remember, substitution. So what I'm going to do, take this, plug it into this y, because it says y equals. So watch. 3x minus 10 equals negative x plus 14. So I get 4x equals 24, because I added the x, added the 10. Divide by 4, I get x equals 6. Plug that into one of the equations, so y equals 3 times 6 minus 10, so y equals 8. So I know the center is 6, 8. So now to bring everything together, we've used the midpoint, the perpendicular bisector distance formula. Go from the center to one of the ones, and I'm going to use 0, 0 because that just makes it easier. So distance formula. 6 minus 0 squared plus 8 minus 0 squared. Distance equals square root of 36 plus 64. Square root of 100. So the distance is 10. So there, but that's the radius. And they want a diameter, so diameter 20 units. So radius is 10, diameter is 20. See you guys in class tomorrow.